They like.
What's up, y'all? This is Relly back with another video. Yes, sir. And today we got a very special guest, man. Diz, anything you want to say before we really get into it, or anything you want to promote?
No, well, just make sure to follow me on my page, which is Mark_sportsfan_reacts. Just I keep updating you guys with memes and funny content.
And I might have.
That's good. Thank you.
And I might have that link down in the description box below too. So make sure you give me all your information. But with all that being said, though, we got to jump into it, right? Because I've been asking a lot of people, what is their expectation for the Cleveland Cavaliers going into this season? So what's your expectation of the Cavs?
Now, see, I'm gonna provide you with a bit of details. My expectation for the Cavs, we are legitimately in a weird position, in a position we've never been before. And so what we can do is either A, the talent we have can surprise us and we can make the play-in, possibly the playoffs, or B, we can use those talents we have to trade for something better. I'm guessing the reason why many Cavs people are confused is why we got Larry Markkinen, and I feel we got him because one, we already have too many power forwards and big. Maybe we can use or Dion, really good wing shooter now. And so the thing is, we have talent, like I mentioned, and our expectation is, if the highest ceiling I could possibly say is we make the play. Worst case scenario is we are still a draft lottery team, which is kind of expected too. But I think the star improve his vision and IQ. It's already good, but we depend on him for that. He's our leader.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know, what are your expectations on the Cavs?
For me, I agree with you. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers is really gonna end up being a at the peak. I think could be a playing team, right? I think if the Cleveland Cavaliers is healthy, which is a big what if, a big variable for a lot of teams, including the Cavs, I think we can get in the playing spot for, let's say, 9 and 10. I think that's possible. But I agree with you. I think our floor is we're going to be a lottery team. I think at the very least, if health does come into play, then we can't really mesh with the rotation. I can see that, right? And I don't think that necessarily hurts us either way, because, I mean, we're still a rebuilding team. We still have a lot of things we got to answer. And I feel like right now the Cleveland Cavaliers, this is just another development season, right? Which is okay. It's nothing wrong with that. It's just that's what I really think it's going to be. Also, with that being said, and that kind of brings me to the next question as well, is how much do you think Collin Sexton should get paid? You get what I'm saying? Because he's approaching his extension year. Like I said before, we're still in the process of rebuilding and developing our roster. So I don't know when Collin's going to get paid, but how much do you think Collin Sexton is truly worth in today's NBA?
Yes, and confusing question because you're lagging a bit, my dude. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so that's kind of a confusing question depending on how this season goes. To be honest, because I view this season as more as if a Knicks season, kind of how the last year the Knicks did. And depending on how Collin Sexton performs this team, is how I would think his contract will be, because we cannot pay him a max contract because he hasn't done yet anything for the Cavs. You get what I'm saying? Most of these young stars have done something for the Cavs. Devin Booker took them to the finals. Obviously, Devin Booker had help from a Chris Paul, but you got to do something to earn that max contract. You got to take us to the playoffs or to the play-in in order for you to earn it. Now, no shame on Collin Sexton. He's a very great scorer, but his IQ, his passing IQ is something that he needs to work on, and also his leadership.
And I agree with that 100%. I think one thing that you touched on was that we can't be paying Collin Sexton, who hasn't necessarily proven anything yet, right? And there's no knock on him, but like you said before, when you're in a situation like the Cavs, rebuilding, developing, trying to get into that playoff, right? You can't afford to give Collin Sexton 150 plus when he hasn't at least shown you to be a play-in team, right? Or a play-in caliber player, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard for us to really do that, right? So could you re-say the number again? I don't know if you said that or not, where...
No, I didn't say a number, but I have something that maybe you said in one of your videos. It's just that we're a rebuilding team, and most of these players, obviously, Collin Sexton is going to have the best season this year because one, he wants that max contract. But let's say we were the Cavs, we did pay him that 150 mil. And we don't know if he's going to perform as he did, because sometimes we pay the players, but then they just don't perform at the level we expect them to perform. Same thing with the Kevin Love situation. Now we're literally bankrupt because of him, and we have to get him out. But I mean, if we were to pay Collin Sexton, I think we could pay him, I'm not sure, around 80 mil. And seems realistic enough for him, or probably lower, depending on how he does this season, like I said before.
Now, I will say 80 million, I think if you can get him on 80 million, that would be a huge finesse. But I think realistically, because Jared Allen got 100 million, right? We just seen Michael Porter Jr. get $207 million, right? And I like MPJ, but he really hasn't done anything yet.
And he's kind of like the Collin Sexton version of him. Because if you look at Michael Porter Jr., he was drafted in the same class as Collin Sexton, but apart from being good scorers, they really don't provide anything to the team. They don't provide their win percentage isn't that good. They're not impactful in the game. That's what I'm saying.
I can see that. I can truly see that. With the understanding of you saying, we can't be in a situation where we overpay Collin Sexton. We talked about how, you even mentioned that your expectations at the ceiling is to get into that play-in, possibly get in that playoff spot, right? So if you was the general manager, right, you was Kobe Altman, right? What is one move, what is one trade that you must do this season? Like, it's no way around it. You got to make that move.
Well, there's so many moves that the Cavs front office needs to make this season. One, realistically, I know most of these Cavs fans don't want to hear it, but buy out Kevin Love. There's no trade value for him right now. So that's one thing we need to do. And I'm sorry, because either way, we're still going to eat that money up. One, we're not going to get him out out of a trade. Two, I'd rather just buy him out and let the young guys just have his minutes, to be honest. That's one thing we need to do. And the second thing is we need to have an objective, a realistic objective of who we need to target. And that, I feel, is Cam Reddish or DeAndre Hunter. And they don't have a big role in Atlanta. Obviously, they don't, because Atlanta is stacked right now. They have a super team right now, a young super team, I would say. And it's realistically a huge step for us if we could get one of those. One, because they are a 3-and-D wing. They play solid defense and they can shoot the ball well, and that's what we need. We need shooters.
I agree with that. And what's crazy about what you said too, because as you know, I was talking about that Kevin Love situation too, where I don't see a trade happening. What a lot of people don't understand, right, is we just seen a player very similar to the Kevin Love situation in Blake Griffin, right? Detroit tried their hardest to trade Blake Griffin, but what happened was, even though Blake Griffin was he was a cool player, that type of money is just untradeable alone. Like, yes, teams would want Blake Griffin. Yes, teams will want Kevin Love, but not for $30 million a year, right? Because we still owe him $60 million for 2 years, right? No one's going to, because in order for somebody to actually take a Kevin Love contract, they would have to give up a max contract player And most players with max contract players is stars, right? Is those stars, superstar players, and I'm not giving you one of those, right?
And like Kevin Love isn't a Jason Tatum type of player anymore, and that's the thing that makes him look bad every single year if he still has that contract. One, his age regression. That's something that teams won't pay. You're not going to pay someone who's almost 34 years old or 35 that kind of money, and also his contract. So I mean, we're in a very weird spot right now. We're kind of like the next of how I should expect. Collin Sexton is that Julius Randle type of player that maybe he could run up for most improved player this year. Also Darius Garland, those type of players that could possibly get us to the play-in or playoffs.
I agree with that. And I would like to thank you for joining the podcast, joining the Let's Talking Cavs. And I would love to have you on again because, you know, I feel like Cleveland fans need people who really watch the Cavs, who can really express themselves. You get what I'm saying? I think they need perspective of things, right? And like you said, even mentioned earlier, I feel like it's times where, yes, it be things Cleveland Cavalier fans don't want to hear, but I feel like they need to hear it, you know? Because like you said, even with the Collin situation, the expectations, or Kevin Love, like we both agree, like a Kevin Love trade is very unrealistic, right? Collin Sexton getting $150 million is something that's not really beneficial to the Cavs. You get what I'm saying? And even the expectation, like our team is actually good enough to get in the play-in, but it's a matter of what type of moves we do throughout the season that's going to help us. You get what I'm saying? So, and I don't know if there's anything else you want to, last remarks you have to say before we close.
No, it's just like you said, it's just a matter of staying healthy and actually trying to play. Because again, Cavs fans, don't get your hopes up. We start playing good at the beginning of the season. We say, oh, we're a playoffs team, everything. Once people start getting injured or once we start having lack of communication, that's where we go back to the reality of being, oh, we're a draft team again, or we still need improvement.
Yep. Yep, I agree with that 100%. So also, and make sure you give me all your information too, including your link, because I'm gonna have that down in the description box below, as well as somewhere in this video. I'm gonna have it plastered somewhere, But yeah, just make sure I get that information. I thank you for being on here. Hopefully, I can get you on here again. Thank you.
All right, my pleasure. I love talking about Cavs and the Cavs media. And just thank you for having me in your YouTube channel.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right, man. Have a good rest of your day. See ya.
You do too.
That's Atlantis with that money.